All right, so this is we completed the shred yesterday. So let's talk a little bit about it. And there's a couple things I want to say before we see what you all want to say. But just know that, well, let's talk about why you started to do this in the first place. That the shred is a 10-day jump start. So in 10 days, you're just really introducing your body to the concept of taking out and putting in what comes. And Kathy, I need to keep you muted. Let me just, okay, got it. Can you hear me now? Looks like she can hear me now. So remember why you did this, but understand that there is no perfection. And so some shreds, if you've been doing this multiple times, some shreds are better than others. Some shreds you are focused and you're on point, and then some shreds you're like, how did I just eat that peanut butter cup with chocolate and a chip and some cheese on the shred? How did I do that? And then you feel like, well, shoot, now that I've already eaten that on day 3, I might as well, no, you might as well not just abandon the shred. You keep going, right? If you've had a faux pas, a boo-boo along the way, you don't stop. You do the best that you can. Because again, if you're doing this multiple times, you're not always perfect. And I always tell you people that it is like being on a mechanical bull, and that bull is trying to throw you off, and sometimes you can hold on and sometimes you cannot. But the bottom line is is helping you take stuff out of your body that doesn't belong. And so that's important. It's an important protocol. What I found out from before, and I want to be clear on this, is once the shred is over, don't stop taking your fruits and vegetables in a capsule or a chewable, because there was a couple of shredders before that said, oh, they stopped until the next time. No, keep flooding your body with your capsules and your chewables, your Juice Plus. Keep going. Now your shakes, here's the deal. Depending on what you want to do and how you want the shakes to last. The first time I did the shred, I thought, oh, I'm just going to have the shakes during the shred. And then I realized, oh, wait a minute. I like these shakes. They make me feel good. They make me feel full. And I don't have to think about what I'm going to eat for breakfast. And the next thing you know, I had used my whole supply that month. And that might happen to you. So if you like the shakes, by all means, use them. You can get more. There are, you can order more. So if you need to order more, you can. And the truth is, if you've ordered more before if you're on the payments, 4 payments, some of you all pay the shakes in full, so you don't have to worry about that. But if you're on the payments and then you run out, then you just have 2 payments. I always have 2 boxes of complete 2 payments at a time, because I'm going through them in a month. So you can decide how you want to use them, but it's a good way to keep flooding your body with all of that nutrition. So I want to say that. I'm looking over here at my notes. The shred is over, so you can do 3 things. You can just abandon everything that you discovered and go back to whatever it is you were doing, which we don't want that for you, which is why you have that meal plan. So you can abandon the shred altogether and go back to business as usual. You can say, okay, now the shred is over. Where is my coffee? And please let me have cream. But I'm going to keep some of the things in that I discovered, but I'm not going to do it as strict, which is fine. Or you can just keep going because you saw the results. You knew that your body didn't like gluten and you just decided to keep going. But whatever it is, whatever level you choose, be it you go right back to what you used to do, you do some of the things that were on the shred and put some things back, or you keep going, you have that meal plan that is designed to bridge you until we do the shred again. There's a couple of things I want to say about the meal plan, because some of you all have been shredding with us for a while, and people ask me, does the meal plan change? And so I'm going to say this. In January, the new year, I'm going to add in and do some different things with it. But it's designed to give you options. So if you're looking at the menu and it says 5 ounces of protein of your choice, then you can choose what you want to do. If it says rice or carb of your choice, you look at that list and you plug it in. So that meal plan is really there to help guide you through so you don't feel lost out in the wilderness after our 10 days are over. Now, this is good information if you want to keep pounds off. As challenging as that is, I'm going to give you the information, and what you do with it is what you do with it. But if you're looking to manage that, so carbohydrates, the belly is where we store carbohydrates. So if you have more belly than you desire, that you like, that is where your carbohydrates turn into sugar and store as fat. It starts in the belly, then it'll go to the back and the hips and all of those things. But if you don't like that, then you want to reduce your carbohydrates. Now, reduce it to what? 1 cup is a serving. So if you're going to have a cup of rice with your meal, 1 cup. Because what happens is people have the tendency, let's say if you go to Chipotle, they give you lots of beans, lots of rice, and that is, if your body cannot burn it, it's going to, Bernetta says yes. Yeah, I feel like, do you want to chime in, Bernetta? Do you want to say? You want to unmute?
Yes, we overeat carbs, and it's so unfortunate because they're the favorite part of every meal. It's the pie, the cookies, the candies, the cakes, the bread, all of that. But if we can agree that we're going to really cut back, you're going to see your waist circumference just slip right down. So you're telling us the right stuff.
And so, Bernetta, there's some people that don't know you, have never seen you, and I always want you to share just a snippet of your journey, because they might say, she's got this carb thing under control. She doesn't know about this. She's, skinny and fit. And so tell them, so they know what you're talking about.
Well, yes. So, 400 pounds, you guys, my top weight was 400 pounds. And I was a size 32. And so today I am down to 177, and I'm a size 6. And the last 80 pounds of that was all about managing the carbs. And so that's become, over the years, I think what's happened is we've used the carbs to make the food taste better. And so there's carbohydrates everywhere. And unfortunately, this is what's led us to diabetes. So, yep. If you can cut those carbs back, and if you just think about it, think if you just ate a sandwich, like one of those breakfast sandwiches at breakfast, and then you had a hamburger at lunch, and you had a big old baked potato at dinner, you have already tipped over the 200 mark for carbs in the day. And if you continue to do that, and that's not counting any of the side dishes or anything. So it's important that you keep that in mind. And if you'll do that on this shred, oh my goodness. That's why a lot of people, I think, lose a lot of weight, Robin, on the shred.
Did we lose you? Where'd you go?
Oh, okay.
Are you there?
That's why a lot of people lose a lot of weight on the shred. Because we ask them to get away from the gluten and those carbs. So absolutely.
Yeah. Because I think, again, the bottom line is it's the carbohydrate. This is what it is. When you have more carbohydrates than your body can, so carbohydrates is what is our energy source, right? So we actually need carbohydrates for energy, but most of us have a lot of energy stored. Like, we have more energy stored than we need. And so what we cannot use for energy will turn into sugar and store as fat. And that is where the challenge comes in with the weight. But then the other challenge is we like carbohydrates a lot. And there's this relationship between the way we feel and our brain and the chemicals that are in there. So it's an uphill battle trying to manage those things, because, again, we like them and the chemicals like us. And this is this complicated relationship. Our intent is just to make you aware of that. And sometimes, again, the mechanical bull will knock you off. but get back up. Bernetta, tell us this, because I want to know how, because you have such a success story. How long were you battling, if I could call it that, your weight before you got it under control?
Oh my goodness, that's such a big question. I spent my whole childhood and adulthood. it was a 40-year battle. I gained weight as a 9-year-old kid, and I was 50 before I got to my goal weight. So I am literally living in the best body I've ever had my whole life. And these last 3 years of my life, I'm now 53. I've been able to manage that weight, and that's like the biggest success on the planet. And I will tell you that managing my weight is so much easier on Juice Plus. Management is more work than losing, because you can lose weight. It's keeping it off. But with the Juice Plus and doing the shred once a month, the weight management piece is much more doable.
That's
And
powerful.
so I get to eat more and exercise less and still weigh the same
Okay.
with the Juice Plus. So that's a big deal for me. Big deal.
That is a big
So
deal.
carbs is at the core of it, because we don't get it that we're eating so much. But that's another reason why you feel so good on the shred, because you get that sugar out and you get that gluten, that bread component away, and you are bringing it down to the low, like the normal rates, the normal levels. And so then you sleep better, because all those carbs, inflammation, all that pain in your body, all that inability to sleep, and certainly all that bloating, that's what goes away. And it's really a big part of that is at that carb place. So that's why the shred is
What would you say, if there is anything to say, when people really struggle, where they just they wanna, but it's like they just find it just very, very difficult to do it, to stick with it?
I think, and this is where you hear me talk all the time about the whole planning piece and the mental piece. If you think your way through it and you remind yourself why you're doing it, and if you can get through day 3, I know that's that pivotal moment. If you can get through day 3 on the shred, and you haven't reverted back to the bread and the peanut butter cups and the and you've turned that sugar piece down, and you've gone to bed, because you're going to need the water and the sleep to let your body replenish itself from all the carb over exhaustion. That big belly is inflammation, because your body is at work day and night and day to digest those carbs. There's only one uh, department in your body that manages the sugar. And I know Tammy can attest to that. So the whole diabetes piece and all that kind of stuff comes because your body just is overworked from eating it. But if you can get through day 3, if you can really plan and get through day 3, I'm telling you, day 4 is like a new birth, and you can make it. And then once you've done it, if you'll agree with yourself that you just don't need this anymore, you guys stay on the shred. Stay on it. Mm-hmm. Stay on the shred. And if you can at least let go of that sugar out of your mouth and keep that gluten out of your diet, I promise you, your weight is just going to plummet, and you're going to start sleeping better and feeling better. I wonder, because I can see faces. How many of you, raise your hand if you just feel better doing the shred? Just raise your hand. Just wave at me. Anybody feel better? Yeah, that's right. Yes. You just feel better. Even if the scale didn't move, you feel better. And that's what we want to do. So if you'll embrace how you feel, this is my rule. Nothing tastes as good as healthy feels.
I want to say this too, because you mentioned about the scale, because that is the part about feeling better is like the number one goal. And then some people will say, or they don't want to say, the scale didn't move. If that scale did not move, please say so. Don't be well, this is the thing. Say so if the scale didn't move and you were doing everything on point, because some people say, well, the scale didn't move, and I know why it didn't move, because they weren't doing the shred, right? But if you're doing the shred all in all faithfully, and you say the scale didn't move, that's important, because there's a reason. Then we look at, and then I can say that, well, is it hormonal? Is it age? What else is going on? So that's important too. I didn't turn my phone off, and therefore I'm popular. So I always encourage shredders, because sometimes people get shy. This is the thing. People are always posting their happy moments on the shred group. And then people that are having struggling moments, they feel like, well, I don't want to be the only one that's struggling. You're not the only one. So if you're able to admit and post, then people will chime in and be like, well, me too. I had a glass of wine. You know, it's just like they're just waiting for someone to admit that there's a struggle there. So be honest, share your truth. I get a lot of posts or texts. I don't know if I should share this. Share it. There's no, I mean, unless it's so personal, but we're there to support you in truth. We're not looking for it all to be rosy. I know it's not all rosy. I ate a peanut butter cup during the shred. I'm the nutritionist. Hello? My urine was yellow Western. I was like, oh, I'm the coach. What's going on? So I you know what I mean? And I think I told you that. It is what it is. So I want to say a couple things and then have you all be able to comment, ask questions, or what have you. Our next shred is September the 9th. Mark your calendars. Labor Day will have been in our rear view. You can have your whatever you're going to eat for Labor Day. Don't let that be an excuse. Because the shred is designed to miss those holidays. So the second Monday, you got October. Listen up. November and December, this is real important because when we do it in November, you're missing Thanksgiving. And then after Thanksgiving, you're doing the shred pretty much. And then December, you miss Christmas. And after you've had a good old time, then you're doing the shred again. So we've structured this with you in mind. So September the 9th. And in September, we're going to have a bigger group because we just will. It's our big, epic September shred. So I encourage all of you, and I always say this, if you feel good, how dare you not share that with other people, right? Each one teach one. So grab your coworkers, grab your girlfriends, your guy friends, people that you love, like, and care about, and tell them, yo, come and shred with us in September. And then all they need to do is get with your shred leader, whoever your shred leader is, connect them with that shred leader so we can make sure they get their Juice Plus and their protein and what have you. And if there's some of you out there that are rocking the shred and you've been doing it a long time and you've been watching us in action and you want to be a part of the shred leader team, get in touch with one of us as well, and we'll put you on the team. And what does that mean if you're on the team? That means that you are stepping up to encourage more. That means that you are bringing other people in the fold. And that means you're a leader in the team. And there's some other parts that go to it, which I'm not going to tell you about it because it's a secret, but it's a real good secret. So if you want to know more about what it entails to be a shred leader, let us know and we'll clue you in on the glory of being a shred leader. And lastly, let's I try to keep this, between 20 and 30 minutes. I think last time we went way beyond, but please feel free at this point to comment, to ask questions, because again, we have the next 3 weeks that we're free of shred. The group is going to close down on Sunday. It's open of Saturday, somewhere in there. It's open for a couple of other days. You can go in there and say goodbye to your favorite buddy you met there, and then we'll start up again. So with that being said, now is the time for anything that you want to say, and then we'll go from there. So, and if you don't say, then I might pick on some people, but we'll give you a chance to say.
I have something to say.
Okay, yay! Say.
I had a new shredder. My best friend Mary Wilson.
Oh.
She shredded with us this time, and she's on the phone. But
Hey, Mary Wilson.
I just want to thank her for making it happen, and she had her gummies and her shake, and she felt good and all that, right, Mary? I don't know, but yeah, I think she muted herself out. But I just wanted to give her a shout out.
Woo woo to Mary. And this is Mary's first shred, right?
This is Mary's first shred. Me and Rodney's third, and Mary's first.
You know what? I'm going to ask you this, Tammy. From the first shred to the third shred, easier, harder, different results, better results. What is your experience being from the time you started till now? What do you feel? What do you think?
It's different each time, but better different. The
Okay.
scale still moves. First
Wow.
shred 15 pounds, second 8, this one 6.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
um, I always noticed something different. I had this lump on the back of my neck. I thought it was age related
Uh-huh.
because, but I told Rodney this morning, I said, remember that lump back here? The doctor said, oh, that's age related. I said, well, I must have got younger because it's gone. And it was so funny. He said, let me see. He said, it sure is gone. I said, wait, we're going to take a picture. Dr. Bernetta was saying, take pictures. I said, I'm going to take a picture of the back of my neck because that roll and that knot back there, all that's gone. But yeah, I noticed something different every time. Good every time. Just.
You look so bright.
And I feel my neck and all the bone structures is coming. The hair growing, nails strengthening, and my eyes are brightening up. And
you just look good.
I know, she looks younger.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
I'm just so excited. So
I'm want to write that stuff down. Write that down. Make those notes and take the pictures. Because a year from now, I would imagine you might remember, but there's little things, like you said, every time you do the shred, something else sort of appears and you're like, oh my goodness, I hadn't realized that. So, oh my goodness, yes. Pictures.
Not sensitive to the hot and cold anymore with my teeth. I could drink hot and cold and not go, all that's gone. Oh, and the plaque on my teeth, I used to use this stuff for plaque on my teeth, and there's not any plaque there. I'm like, okay, where'd it go? But that's good. It's just every time is something different. I used to have all this sleep caked up in my eyes in the morning and couldn't hardly that's gone. But like you said, Dr. Bernetta, you said write it down. I have to, because it's just huge, significant changes, not some little bitty something, so.
Every time you shred, I'm always like, wow. Like every time I'm still like in awe. Yeah. It's very, very inspirational. And and you do look really, really good.
Thank you.
Really good. And I can tell, because when you first started, you didn't have your hair out like you do now.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I was hiding it.
Yeah. So cool. So cool. Thank you. Anyone else want to be so brave to share their thoughts, feelings, or anything before we go? Y'all are quiet out there. All right, I'm gonna pick on somebody. I am gonna, if it's okay, I'm gonna call on some folks, and then y'all might not respond. But Princess, do you want to say anything? I guess if you don't, I guess people don't want to say anything because they're not saying anything. So I guess I will not call on anybody, because if you're not saying anything, that means you don't want to. So let me just take a round again. Love to hear any other feedback from y'all shredders. Was it harder for y'all this time? This is a quiet group, but that's okay. Kathy, do you want to say anything?
No, I don't really have a whole lot.
Okay. But you did have results.
I did.
You did. I know you did. So, okay. Quiet, folks. That's okay.
Just keep pushing. I want, what I want, my end result.
Yeah.
Just keep pushing toward that.
And I think what Bernetta said was very powerful, is getting the weight off is easier than keeping it off.
Yeah.
Keeping it off requires something different. Well, if that's the case, I do not want to keep y'all any longer than I need to.
Can I say one last thing, Robin?
You can say 3 last things.
Well, please do pat yourselves on the back, for agreeing to be a part of the shred. Be reminded, I think I was trying to put this Facebook post together. Remember cake batter and cookie batter. Stuff doesn't have to be done to taste good. You know, we used to lick the bowl when Mama made cookies and cake, and we have an ice cream called cake batter. Sometimes we get so focused on just that, and I'm not throwing off on you, Kathy. This is a real deal issue because it took me 40 years to lose weight, to get to my goal weight, 40 years. So at some point I had to learn that if I didn't love myself where I was and learn to respect and appreciate where I was never going to have the stamina to get to the end. So I want to encourage us all to enjoy the process. Every time I do the shred, I learn something new about myself. I learn something new about the shred. And I learned something new about why I want to continue doing this. And I've never done a perfect shred. I haven't done it perfect yet. My weight goes up and down during the shred every time. I'll lose 3 pounds and then gain 1.5 pounds back. And of course, you know, I'm going to have some bread tomorrow, for real. I'm going to do it. But again, it doesn't have to be perfect to be wonderful. And so find the wonderful in this moment. Find the wonderful today. And then go back to our shred group and put those questions. There's not a crazy question, a stupid question. The only bad question is the one you won't ask, because I think somebody else out there is going through whatever you're going through, and maybe we can help each other plan better, respond better. And again, this doesn't always sometimes the shred gets really weight loss focused, but this is so much more than that, you guys. And so if we can keep that in mind, then I think we'll get the most out of it. Yes?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes. Hey, Rodney.
And Rodney, I had some grits on your behalf.
Well, and
Right?
I really, Robin, I just want to say a side note. I really enjoyed
The
your
grit.
your rant was great because
Oh,
it's all about you know, I said, why didn't I hear about this sooner? And whatever you do, whoever the people are, they make a way on whatever they want to do, whatever they want to do, whenever they want to do it, and however they want to do it. And if your health is like the first time I did this, oh my God, I felt so much better. Like I wasn't doing it to combat the diabetes. It just happened. And so I was like, wow, I feel so much better. So much better, so much sense. This came into my life. And I love it. And you don't have to be a seller, because when they see it in you, it's just like having the Holy Ghost, and you're out there and they see you shining. They're gonna ask you, what are you doing? You doing something. See, let your light shine, you know. It's a spiritual thing and it's a natural thing. And let it shine and let them see, like, hey man, this guy's getting around way better. I'm gonna ask him, are you doing something different? So you could sell by not selling. You could just, and people will say, wow, you got to be doing something. I want to know. And don't be afraid to talk to people. Like last night I was talking to a guy in the store. I was like, hey, how you doing? You know, because most Californians don't talk to each other. But I'm from the South and I will talk to you. My daughter says, Daddy, leave people alone. I was like, no, because I'm not trying to sell nothing. I just want to talk to you.
We need
like,
business
and
cards.
they say, wow, man. They'll say, wow, you look great. What are you? Is there anything you're into? And people ask. So I love this because I'm still doing portions, just portioning my food out, because it helps to say, okay, I'm just gonna have a little bit of that, a little bit of that. You can have a whole lot of something and a little bit of it all.
yeah.
So I do that now, and I love it. So make sure those vegetables in there, because even though I take the gummies, I still add to it.
You have to.
Still
Yeah.
add to it.
You
I
have to.
still add to it.
I think.
It was wonderful.
Did he pause? Is he frozen? Maybe I'm frozen. Am I frozen?
No, you're not frozen. He froze.
Okay.
No, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, cool.
Uh-oh. So who's frozen? They're frozen? They're frozen. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear
You
you.
guys, you all have froze a little bit, but I think you're okay now.
We're
So-
here you.
Can hear them. Just I think there's just so much inspiration here. And every time, I think there's one good thing about when you're flooding your body, but also you're flooding your spirit. I mean, when we get off of calls like this, you can't help but to be moved in your spirit by all this goodness. You just, I mean, how can you not? So don't want to cut you guys off. I know you guys froze. Are you, Tammy and Rodney, are you still frozen?
Good.
No,
Still here.
in there. Okay, get it in there. So yes, thank you. You're such an inspiration, and look forward to September. Anybody else before we go? You know, we didn't talk about exercise because the shred is about the eating, but it's also about exercise because that's important too. And as we get older, those weight-bearing exercises, the bones, if you want them, if you want to be able to use them when you walk upright and all that, it's important to use them and do weight-bearing exercises. So the shred is about adding in fruits and vegetables, adding in exercise, adding in water, adding in good thoughts, being around good people. It's about 10 days of just all good you stuff. So don't stop exercising. The shred definitely, even though this time, and I told you I struggled with my food, the shred has my arms looking right. I really get excited. I mean, I'm buff, y'all. I'm exercising. The shred got me right. So, all right, last call for any comments or questions before we go.
Yes, I just have I like what you said. This is Princess. So I'm covered because I hate the way I look on camera. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
But it's all good. I did struggle. I did great the first week. I was like 3 pounds. I was like, yes, I'm going to get close, maybe past my 6. So I did have some struggle. So I didn't make my 6 pounds. That was my goal. But what I decided to do so I wouldn't be so frustrated, because you're right. Often, I don't know how many times I've done the shred. It's always been about losing weight. And so this time I decided, especially the second week, and in the beginning, but I think what became my primary focus, I think, was just eating more vegetables. So I decided, let's just unpack this and just do maybe one segment at a time. And maybe that won't be so overwhelming and I won't be like discouraged if I didn't maybe hit my weight thing. But like, so I ate way more vegetables this time. And so I didn't gain the weight, which was good. You know, I didn't gain any weight. I did keep what I did lose off. And I was very inspired by Tammy and her husband too, and everybody sharing. So that really kept me. But I thought maybe for me to be really successful in the shred is maybe to unpack it. So the next time we do it, I'll be pretty good with the vegetables, and maybe I'll take, maybe I'll just focus on exercise, but I already have the vegetables and then focus on exercise. And then the next time I'll have those 2 done, and maybe I'll chip away at something else. But I'm just trying to work on that sustainability. How do I sustain this once I lose it? You know, that's just my thinking. I don't know.
Yeah, I like your strategy. Your strategy is definitely, I'm sure that other people will find themselves in that strategy and implement it for them. And again, what's good is that we're here together every month. This is a good place. It's a good reminder and a good space. And there's some good folks that keep us inspired, for sure. Thank you, Princess. Thank you so much for sharing. Anybody else before we go? Last call.
Yeah, I want to this is Anna.
Hey,
sorry. I jumped on a little late because I was exercising, and kind of like what Princess said, I kind of focused on adding or making sure I exercised more this time than I did with the other shreds that I've been doing. So I felt like it was helping to bring the weight down, like pound by pound per day. But then I had a couple struggle days because I went with some friends and they were snacking and I grabbed the snacks and I shouldn't have, but I gained the pounds, but then I got right back on it to finish off and I lost the pounds again. So it helped to incorporate this time around for me, the exercise.
That was perfect. It just reminded me again that, as Princess was saying, you know, sometimes you focus on, you do the vegetables, maybe you do more exercise, but every time you do the shred, you're like, okay, maybe I didn't drink enough water last time, but I'm gonna do this better.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Bernetta. You're gonna say? Oh, Bernetta. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, just keep building on it and keep building on it. Okay. Anybody else before we go?
I wanted to thank my pastor's wife for doing the shred. First Lady Connie Deloach, she's on, and I want to thank her. I think this is her second shred. She's on the line, but just on the phone. But I want to thank her for doing it.
Yeah, all of us. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you all for coming on and sharing your inspiration. We look forward to seeing everybody and more, because there's a whole bunch of shredders that this time frame didn't work for them. We have shredders that are in other in New York and different places, and they're sleepy at this time. So I thank you all for hopping on and just being willing to share. Who's this pretty face? Who's this face?
Michelle Morris, how you doing?
Hi, how are you? I like the photo. Very nice. How are you? Do you want to say?
Well, for me, shred was good. I don't even know how many times I've shred so far, but this time wasn't too bad. I think my biggest struggle is getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep. That's my biggest struggle.
Okay. Yeah, I think well, there's always 1 or 2 or 3 parts of this that we're like, I was okay with the sugar, but I needed my coffee, or I couldn't. Yeah, so it's good. Bernetta, I feel like did you want to say something before we go?
Oh no, I'm just excited. This is wonderful. And so I really want to say again, go into our Facebook page and put questions and comments, and kudos to yourself, even just for being here. This is a big deal. There's a lot of people who didn't get this far. And so be good to yourself, be kind to yourself about just agreeing to try.
Yes.
And start making plans now. It's not too early to start making plans for that next shred. Looking at your calendar, making up your mind, setting your goals. I love the way Princess said that, like, sort of unpacking this to say, what did I get right this time? And building on what you did well. So that's just the perfect strategy. And the next one would be find a buddy, find somebody close to you who can do this with you, because it helps. My sister's not on, but me and Arlene, we call each other like, girl, talk me down. I'm getting ready to eat this pancake, or something, And it helps to have a buddy. It does. So that's the next strategy is, get a friend. But really, I want to say again, congratulate yourself for really just agreeing to do this. This is wonderful. And your body thanks you on behalf of your body. And if you don't feel it yet, just give it a moment and you're going to feel it, how good it is to have done this. So
awesome. All right, y'all.
Robin, before you go, I just have one question. I see that you're recording, and I know you recorded our post-shred conference. Where are you putting the recordings? Have you decided yet?
Oh, who is this, Princess?
Yes, it looks like it's being recorded. I don't know.
Yeah, it is. You want the recording? I'll post it in the group, but I'll post it in the group so you all can get it from there. But if you want it, like if you need it to be text to you or emailed to you, post in that group and we'll do that. But I'll put it in the group tonight.
Okay.
Download it and put it in there for you all, for everybody because there's people that just didn't get to get here. So we want to post it. We always record it. So, all right. I'm gonna say goodnight to everybody.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. That is Tammy's coin phrase. I love it. Congratulations. That's like a tongue twister. So, all right, everybody. Good night. Take care.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Good night. Okay, do you want to stop? I'm just reading this. If yes, you will receive an email notification. Do you want to stop?